you can't succeed in either of those. That's why the traditional financial advising that's out there is horrible for business owners, because they're telling you to be a saver. They're telling you to put money away, to take money out of your business, to lock it away and just let somebody else manage it for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you to pay off all your debt. That debt is bad. But in business, debt can be one of the best tools used if you're a wise steward of it.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. It's great to have you back. My name is Rick Nusky. I am your host, and on the line with me today I have Chris Miles. He is the owner of MoneyRipples.com. How are you today, Chris?
Just fabulous. How are you doing, Rick?
Oh, look, I'm like we spoke a little earlier. It's wet and blustery here today, and we're in November, so that's quite unusual for us. So, where are you based, Chris?
I'm based in the United States. I'm in Utah most of the year, although I do travel a little bit south for the winter just to get warmer.
Yes, okay. Well, and that's an interesting thing that you mentioned there. You know, this ability to be a little bit transient in your lifestyle. Is that what Money Ripples has allowed you to do? Give you that freedom to travel?
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't always that way. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years, but yeah, now it's going to be my third winter in a row that we've done this, where my wife, I got remarried about 2 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, hey, part of the deal is, she's like, I can't spend any more cold winters in Utah anymore. So if we're going to, because she's tropical, she's from Venezuela, where she was born and raised, and raised
Beautiful.
part of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I can't do this winter stuff. And so she said, I'm going to California, whether you like it or not. And I said, great, well, let's go, let's do this. And we started making that a tradition every year. And that's the beautiful thing. I mean, especially when you have a business you can do online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do from anywhere in the world. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can do it.
Yeah, well, look, tell us a little bit about Utah. How cold does it actually get there?
Yeah, I mean, do you use Celsius or Fahrenheit?
We can use both.
Okay. I mean, Fahrenheit, I mean, we can occasionally drop below 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
I mean, we definitely drop below freezing, definitely below 0 Celsius quite a bit. I mean, even right now, this time of year where we're moving into winter,
Mm-hmm.
it's still, I mean, we're getting down around 20 degrees Fahrenheit right now, at least where I live.
Wow. So are you a bit of a sports fan at all? Do you follow the Utah Saints or anything like that?
I don't do a whole lot of sports really, at least not that way.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I got 8 kids. My wife has 2, I have 6. So between the 2 of us, we have this massive Brady bunch.
That's wonderful. And you know what? They're the salt of the earth, aren't they?
They sure are. I mean, between all their activities and everything else, I feel like I'm playing sports. It's pretty much driving. It's like a race car driver usually.
Oops, I've forgotten one. I got to go pick that one up. Hang on, I'll be back in 15.
Exactly.
Look, thank you for sharing a little bit about your background with the My Future Business audience. As you know, we are focused on beginner entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized existing business owners. And today's call is going to be a treat for anyone who's looking to free up extra cash flow in their business. Now, we often talk a little bit about backstories. Would you mind sharing your backstories, Chris, about how Money Ripples got to be what it is today?
Yeah, I spent about 17 years ago. The first work that I did, I was actually a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
In the very traditional sense. I did that for 4 years. After about 4 years, I realized pretty quickly that it's a bunch of crap. Like all the financial advice are taught, about, work hard, save everything, spend nothing, stay out of debt, all that kind of stuff. Like it really hadn't helped people become financially free.
No.
So I left that. I actually became I actually said I vowed never to teach about money again. But I started to, work with, associate with guys that were millionaires. And by even just applying some of the things that they had talked to me about, I was able to retire back in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I kind of got to the point. I said, man, like I like this is cool. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And and that's when people started like really reaching out. They said, well, how are you doing what you're doing? And then, again, I vowed never to teach about money, but people kept asking me financial questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2007, I came out of retirement, worked with some of those guys for about 6 years. And then about 6 years ago, I decided to break off my own and create Money Ripples.
Yep.
And really the whole thing is I'm here to create a ripple effect of freedom, prosperity, abundance, that people are able to have in their life so that you work because you want to, not because you have to. You do it by choice, and you live that lifestyle that you've always wanted, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I became an entrepreneur because I wanted control and freedom of my own life. And that's kind of what I help people get back. Otherwise, if you end up doing like what most people do in business, you end up getting this really expensive job.
Yes, absolutely.
And you create your own job that you become a slave to,
And this is the thing. A lot of people are trained and embedded in such a lifestyle, that 9 to 5 grind, if you like, that they never have the opportunity to slow down enough and see anything else in their world. How do you go about sharing your knowledge with those who are wanting to start a business? What's some of the first steps that you would take with someone?
Those people are just looking to start. I mean, the first thing is, obviously the financial things are important, and I teach about cash flow and how to, be profitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you that one of the first things that's so important with that is really understanding what I refer to as your divine genius. And your divine genius is kind of this mixture of like your talents, your passions, your values, problems that you can uniquely solve that no one else on this planet can. And how can you show up to deliver value? Because I'll tell you, the thing that really got me to retire the first time, I was able to retire twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I was able to retire, I just obsessed over the question, how can I create a win-win for people? What can I do to create value for people in a way that they want to exchange money, right? So what can I do to give people what they want, or what are they wanting? What problems do they need solved? Or what service can I render that money is just the natural byproduct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, up to that point in business, like I had been in business for over 4 years, I had never quite understood it to that almost that scientific of an explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was always like, okay, what can I sell people? That's what everybody kind of pushes down your throat is you got to sell something. It's got to be good. You got to pitch it the right way versus how do I show up to serve? How do I show up to add value in people's lives to where this becomes a no-brainer for them and you don't have to sell? And when I started to do that, that's when money came in way more easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're really clear about, okay, first and foremost, like who am I? What do I have to offer? And what am I passionate about? Because you can be gifted at something and not like it. I mean, I'm great at math, but I hate using it. So I'm not going to become a mathematician, but I'm really good at building better mousetraps. I'm really good at seeing kind of the big picture and a lot of times seeing how you can be creative when it comes to financial type of things. How can you get creative to and be resourceful to create or even find money that you didn't know you had. And that's one way that obviously people really want to hire me. Even though I could do many other things, that's the thing that is kind of like my niche, right?
Yeah.
Or my niche, depending on who you're talking to and which part of the world. And so when you get honed in on that, it's so much easier to be able to make money, especially when you figure that out and then you know your message and you know how to say it the way that you would say it, not copycat somebody else, and just be you and show up to serve people. It's amazing how easy business can be. And then you can start integrating things like, okay, how do I stay profitable and how do I do this and how is my website supposed to look? Because honestly, people are doing websites even before they have a message, and that doesn't help them.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for anybody who's listening today, this is about delivering value first, and then concerning yourself about all of the other byproducts, which will, as Chris has mentioned, naturally come your way. Now, I know that you have been featured in US News, CNN Money, Bankrate, and the list goes on and on and on. How does that all come about? Is that something that came to you, or did you seek that out?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. There you go.
I mean, I was looking for those opportunities. For example, I mean, I would, I watch to see like what reporters were asking for. I have different resources I use to, where reporters are saying, hey, I'm looking for this. Who's an expert in this way? And so I've gotten connections that way, or I remember I co-wrote a book with Tim Ferriss. If you know the guy that wrote the 4-Hour Work
Oh,
Week.
absolutely. Yeah.
I was able to co-author a book with him, and that opened up some doors for me and to be on some great podcasts or, and other doors that opened up as well. So
such as Entrepreneur on Fire was one that came to mind.
Exactly. Yep. That's actually it was through doing a book with Tim Ferriss I was able to connect with John Lee Dumas. Yeah.
Amazing. And it's just wonderful to have you on the show with me today. It says a lot about where we are at with the My Future Business Show. We have a wonderful audience. And to be honest, it wouldn't be anything without everybody who is listening to the show today. So thank you very much. Now, Chris, I'd love to go over some steps that people could follow if they have a business already and they're trying to unlock that extra cash flow. How does that come about? What do you look at?
There's a lot of different little areas I look for. I'll tell you the very first one to start before almost anything that you look at is I always tell people, and this applies to your personal life and your business life, your personal finances and your business finances. And the first place I look is I look for, what money's coming in and what's going out. I track the money. And so there's different tools you can use. Depending on the country you're in, you might have different online apps you might use or websites. There's plenty of free resources and apps and websites out there that help track. Like for example, I use a one called Mint.com here in the U.S. I know it works well for Canada as well, and I track my business with another format that my accountant really loves. So. He's happy.
Make it easy for him.
He likes it. Yeah, but the biggest thing is tracking the money coming in and the money going out.
Right.
That's what's so important. Because I'll tell you, in scarcity, people that are savers, people that naturally want to save money, they're the ones that will always look at expenses, but they keep forgetting looking for ways to make more money. On the flip side, you got the people in scarcity that are spenders. And they're also frantically trying to figure out how to make things work out. Now they're focused on the income, but they ignore their expenses, right? That's why they keep spending. They wonder why money's easy come and easy go.
Yeah.
And both places, you can't succeed in either of those. That's why the traditional financial advising that's out there is horrible for business owners, because they're telling you to be a saver. They're telling you to put money away, to take money out of your business, to lock it away, and just let somebody else manage it for you, right? They're telling you to pay off all your debt. That debt is bad. But in business, debt can be one of the best tools used if you're a wise steward of it. So I teach people to be stewards. And stewards look at both income and expenses. If they look at debt, for example, they'll say, okay, if that loan, if I get, I remember I had a $25,000 loan that cost me about $130 a month. Now, if I'm going into a business and I can't take 25 grand and turn it into $130 a month, I shouldn't be in business, right? That to me is like brainless, easy resource of money. And so that's the money I was like, great, I'm going to do that. Like that 25 grand, I can turn around and create not $130 a month. I can easily create 10, 20, 50, 100 times that, no problem. So that's the kind of thing that we have to look at, and we can't look at money the way everybody tries to tell us to do, because most of those people teaching us about money are self-interested in selling some sort of company or product, right?
Yeah.
That's why I had to leave financial advising. I realized when people weren't becoming financially free, I couldn't stay in integrity and teach that stuff anymore. So I tell people, great, first step, track your money. What's coming in, what's going out. And then with the money that is going out, look for ways to generate more income, and there's lots of different ways to do that. But on money that's going out, look for expenses that are destructive, things that just aren't worthwhile. For example, I still to this day, occasionally I'll find, monthly memberships that I'm a part of. And I don't care if the membership is $10 a month. If that's something that is no longer useful for you, cancel it. Save the $10, use it somewhere else where it's going to be more productive. Facebook ads sometimes can be like that, depending on what you're doing or how you're doing it. Like there's a lot of money that people throw away, especially when they start a business. A lot of people throw money into a website that they're not even ready for. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a website, because that is important. But there's other things you need to do first that will make it more productive. That will cost you less money, short term and long term, if you do it in the right order, the right steps. So those are the kind of things that I look for, whether it's at home or in the business. And I'll tell you, anybody who's told me that they're too busy to track their money, I guarantee that they're losing at least $500 a month, which is about $6,000 a year. One lady that said that to me, she's like, I'm just too busy. There's so much work I got to do to keep paying for stuff. And I got her to slow down and actually look at the numbers. It was amazing. We were able to find over $1,800 a month.
And there's a difference between being busy and productive, isn't there?
Absolutely. The busier you are, usually the less productive you are.
Yeah, of course. I just want to come back to something you said earlier about scarcity and touch a little bit on mindset, because I know that you went through some struggles. You were a millionaire and you had that go away a little, I guess, and then you had to rebound. Where were you at in the mindset at that stage, and how did you rebound? Because I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Right. Yeah. 2007 was horrible. I mean, I've had a few ups and downs. Like I remember 2004 had what I thought was back then, like what seemed horrible spill. I mean, I remember I actually was looking for change in drive-through windows because I knew, hey, people drop change on the ground. Where can I find some? Right.
Wow.
And that was when I had like $5,000 of credit card balances. I thought that was horrible back then. Well, I got to the point where I was able to become a millionaire by 2007. But when the recession hit, I went from millionaire to what I call upside down millionaire, where I had over $1 million of debt.
Yeah.
Especially when real estate values were suffering and I was in the hole $16,000 a month. Funny enough, that's right when I came out of retirement in 2007 to teach people how to get out of the rat race. I then found myself back in it. And so there's all kinds of struggles. It wasn't just the money struggles. It was the self-worth struggles, right? The feeling of, am I a fraud because I was teaching people how to get out of the rat race and look, here I am, like I can't be in integrity and keep teaching that. And so at first I was in denial. I didn't think I thought, hey, everything I was touching would turn to gold before. Why shouldn't this? And then 2008 was hitting and I was like, ooh, okay. I apparently am not as cool as I thought I was. I need to make a change. And so the biggest thing that helped me through that, because I mean, there was times I seriously, I was up late at night, frantically trying to figure out what to do to pay for my mortgage, to pay for my house payment. Because that time my house payment was, like, what was it? Like $4,200 a month, actually $5,600 a month at one point. And I thought, man, like I'm barely pulling in $6,000 a month. That's not even, I mean, if I pay for food, I don't have anything to pay for my house.
Yeah.
And the thing that got me through it is I realized that, okay, everything happens for a reason. There are no accidents, right? And I thought, okay, there's got to be a reason I'm going through this. There's got to be a lesson for me that will, if you've heard Napoleon Hill, his book, Think and Grow Rich.
Of course.
He talks about the concept that with every adversity, there's always the seed of a greater, equal or greater opportunity, right? And so I thought, well, if that's the case, oh my gosh, whatever's coming next is going to be awesome.
That's the way to look at it.
And that's kind of how I had to look at it. It's like, wow, like there's got to be something amazing down the road. And it was almost like, if you've ever seen the movie Rocky, what was it, Rocky 3?
Yes.
I think it was Rocky 3 where he's fighting Mr. T.
Yes.
And it was at the end, he's getting hit by Mr. T over and over and he's getting beat up and they're saying, what is he doing? He's getting clobbered out there. And they're saying, no, he's getting mad. And kept getting hit and say, that ain't so bad. And he get hit again. That ain't so bad. In Sylvester Stallone's voice, like, that ain't so bad. Something like that.
You did it pretty well.
And so, and that's kind of what it was like. It's like, oh man, like that hurt. Ooh, this is gonna be good, And so I had to do that. Even when collectors were calling, there's debts and stuff I owed on, I was past due, and people were calling me multiple times a day while I'm trying to teach people about cash flow and money, right? By the way, I did transition. I stopped teaching about getting out of the rat race. I just started teaching people how to find money because that's what I was doing in that moment. I was like, I'm getting pretty dang good at it. I just wouldn't tell people that,
Yeah.
But I was like, they call up and I call them I love you calls. And I'd say, with these collectors, they call up because, hey, some of my friends, when I started going through financially hard times, they weren't calling me anymore.
No.
I was being deserted. But those collectors, they called me every single day. They were the best friends I had.
Religiously.
And so I'd tell them, like, hey, how you guys doing? So I'd answer like a good buddy is calling me up. And they would act all surprised and a little bit taken aback by that and say, I'm here to collect a debt. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're going to get paid. When? I have no clue, but you're going to get paid. Okay, can you give us a time frame? Nope.
You're asking.
Well, we're going to call back. We're going to call back again probably tomorrow. I'm like, great. I hope so.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for calling. And that's when I got past my low. I mean, that was after I hit what I felt was rock bottom mentally and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
I remember even my wife at that time, my ex-wife, she even threatened to take the kids and move in with her sister so I can quote unquote figure things out.
Wow.
I was going through all that stuff, so it was tough, and have to manage doing a business too was really hard. But when I realized that, hey, if even one person would benefit from that story, from the things that I suffered, whatever I learned would not just benefit me, but benefit at least one other person, that would make it all worthwhile. And I'll tell you, just the cash flow stuff, not even the things I teach about helping people create passive income, things like that, just people find and free up money, which has been on average about $34,000 per person, for the first year alone. I mean, we total it up, it's over $100 million that people have saved up with just my one-on-one clients,
Wow.
Last eight, almost 9 years. And that to me is like, wow. I mean, if anything was to make it all worthwhile, that was, and it just keeps going.
And these are life-altering financial changes, aren't they? The little things that we burn without even thinking about it, that we could, suddenly capture and control a little bit better. Because that's really what we're talking about here is control of your finances, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. Whether it's, money that you're spending, whether it's taxes, depending on the country you're in. I mean, a lot of times people are overpaying in taxes. It could be debts, and how can we restructure your loans? That's one of my favorite things to do with people, is help them get creative there and be able to pay off and free up money with loans, and ways to create more income or generate passive income with their money, whether it's inside or outside the business. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can really change your life financially in a matter of a few years. It really is.
Yeah, it's I guess once you have the foundational understanding of what money is and how it flows and where it goes and why it does what it does, this whole value equation starts to make a great deal of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not really a mystery, because like I said, my first 4 years of business, money seemed hard to come by. It seemed like I had to work hard to get little reward, I was almost better off doing a job. In fact, there was times I even told people, I said, man, sometimes I fantasize. Sometimes people fantasize about having a business that they can be at home and work from home. I was fantasizing about somebody telling me what to do and working a job, because I'm like, that's easier. I don't have to think.
And the responsibility is all on somebody else's shoulders.
Exactly.
So, Chris, where can people find you if they want to touch base with you?
Yeah, there's a few different ways. I mean, there's always my website, moneyripples.com. That's MONEYRIPPLES.com. And also, if you love podcasts, I have my own podcast show called The Chris Miles Money Show. That was days long of research to come up with that name.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sadly, it actually was. I had other names, and then it was my followers that came up with that name. I thought, well, dang, that's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that name?
Yeah,
I was trying to be cute with it,
That sounds like somebody who come up with their title with the 4-hour work week, doesn't it? Getting your audience.
Exactly. Yeah, the audience is seriously one of your best places to find marketing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the Chris Miles Money Show. I do like little 20-minute type episodes I do on my show every week, and yeah, it's great.
Look, it's been a real treat. I'm privileged. I truly am privileged to have had you on the My Future Business Show with me today.
Hey, it's been an absolute honor for me too. Thank you so much.
It's been fun having you on the call with us today, so make sure to subscribe, leave us a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show. And if you're looking to create your own professional audio or video presentations, then for more details, visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.